Hello, my name is Jim. Welcome to my booktube channel about books and reading and stuff. In this video I'm going to do a tag. This is a Booktubers I Love tag. Last December I did a video, 20 booktubers I follow and you should too, and I'll link to that here, which mentions some of the YouTubers I love following, whose content I love. I saw this on John's channel, Hey Yo Listen Up, and then I saw it again on Michael K. Vaughan's channel. Both of those I'll link in the description, and I'll link all of these booktubers in the description. It's a tag for sharing some booktube love with other booktubers. The original creator is Anthony Andrews, who I don't think is creating content anymore. The link I followed suggested that the video was private, and I followed another link to a different one of his videos and that was marked private as well, so I'm not sure if Anthony Andrews is still active. So I'll get to the prompts. First prompt: who was the first booktuber you subscribed to? I think this will be Katie at Books and Things. At the time I had this project where I wanted to read every book by Charles Dickens, and looking on YouTube for Charles Dickens, I invariably came across Katie's channel, and she was very enthusiastic and very erudite and very keen on Charles Dickens and had lots to say about Charles Dickens, so I subscribed to her channel. And shortly after I also subscribed to Claudia's channel, The Spinster's Library, because she also dealt with a lot of Victorian literature. Prompt number 2. Who was the most recent booktuber you subscribed to? This will be Kim, or the Native Lady Book Warrior, who is a member of the Hopper tribe, because November is Indigathon and she's a Native American booktuber. She's very enthusiastic about books. She gives lots of recommendations about Indigenous literature, and she seemed a lot of fun. The video was broadcast from her kitchen and she had a lot of enthusiasm, and I'll be watching more of her videos in the future. Prompt number 3. Name 3 booktubers you want to give a shout out to, you love, or you want to give a shout out to. There are so many, and if I don't mention your channel in this video, I'm sorry. I'm following about 400 booktubers, and there's so many of these booktubers. I love them, I love their content, that inevitably I'll miss some out. But here, 3 to give a shout out to. I'll shout out Erica from Passage of Time. She's very into historical books, non-fiction historical books, and paleontology and Neanderthals and things like that. She's very interesting what she has to say about early hominids and things like this, and she seems a very lovely personality. Then there's Barrett Laurie, who's more of an author tuber than a booktuber, who's, again, he's very enthusiastic. He's got lots of ideas for authors about how to promote themselves on social media, how to promote their books, and he's very encouraging of anybody. I often see him on Margaret Pinard's live broadcasts because he's invariably commenting there, and yeah, he's a great booktuber. And then the third one would be Swagman, who has very long videos. Like me, he's an English teacher, but he's in Vietnam. I'm here in Georgia, the country. And the last one was talking about podcasts about revolutions, because he's interested in all these revolutions: the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, the American Revolution, the English Revolution. Prompt number 4. If you could meet one booktuber right now, who would that be? Just one? That's difficult. If any of the booktubers I follow come to Tbilisi, I'd love to meet them. So just one, maybe 2. One male, one female. Margaret Pinard, I'd love to meet her. I like her humour, I like her content. She knows a lot about history. She's written historical fiction. She's written 5 books and published 5 books, and I think she's working on the 6th now. set in the late 19th century. And second one would be Rowan at We Damage We. He lives in the Twin Cities and he's got an amazing collection of DVD films and records, and he likes music and he'll often play music on his channel, and his cover of Cracker's Low I've put onto my musical playlist. I'll link to that below as well. Prompt number 5. Who is your favourite YouTuber who's not a booktuber? I think at the moment this will be Paul Restorer. I talked about him in my last video. He restores diecast cars, Corgi, Matchbox and other brands. He's got such amazing skills. He's from Poland and he watches my videos as well and comments on my booktube videos. Final prompt, prompt number 6. Tag 14 booktubers. I'll just mention some folk you like. It's difficult to mention just 14, there's so many more I could mention, but I'll stick with the 14 and see how we go. There's Jeremy Fee. Jeremy Fee, when I last looked, had one more subscriber than I have. We never see Jeremy Fee in his videos. We hear his voice and he has lots of graphic elements when he's talking about books, and we have quite a crossover of books we like. Things like Where the Crawdad Sings, we both really like that. He likes science fiction and horror, so we have a lot of common interests. He's also read Margaret Pinard's The Remnants trilogy. Second, let's say Gregory La Perche. He started booktube about the same time as me. He's mostly talking about fantasy. He has his group on Voxer and other places, and he's the person I go to if I want to know where to start with Brandon Sanderson or any other fantasy author. Number 3 would be Pay at Attention. Pay's videos are wonderfully creative. He says he's having trouble with his laptop and he's not editing, but that's a lie. He is editing and he's doing some marvellous editing. He also has a lot of ducks in his video, which can't be a bad thing. And he's extremely knowledgeable about certain writers like Dostoevsky and Camus and Kafka. He's very entertaining. Then Sandy misreads a lot. Again, she's got a great personality. She has these lovely books. She was showing these books in the book design tag. Like, she likes blue books, particularly like she's got one of the Arabian Nights and another of War and Peace with these gorgeous. Then Katrina reads. She's done a few of my alphabet tags. She's also interested in horror. She likes Stephen King and she's very enthusiastic about her reading. Paula at Draw Your Book. She's been heavily involved in the Invisible Cities project. She also follows the Booker Prize. She reads diversely from many different countries. She herself is Spanish but living in the Netherlands, and she talks usually in English in the videos. I haven't heard her speaking in Spanish or Dutch. And Juan at Plagued by Visions. He likes horror and disturbing literature, but he's very humorous. He's got a very warm personality, and he also did this thing with Shelley Swearingen where he was possessed by the spirit of Jane Austen, which was very amusing. There's Cristina at Knitting Books, etc. She's from Portugal. She likes Dickens. She likes a lot of Victorian literature. She's always got interesting things to say about the books. Of course, there's Summer at Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats. A very engaging personality who reads a lot, and as her title suggests, she's got lots and lots of cats. Greg, another bibliophile, reads. He's just recently moved and he's got this wonderful library in the basement that is his background for the videos, and he's pulling off books from the shelf to talk about them. He has broad taste in different literature. He likes horror literature like I do, and He knows writers like Graham Masterton, Stephen King, and many more. There's Nicki at Red Dot Reads. She's based in Singapore, another engaging personality. Jen at Remembered Reads. She reads a lot of non-fiction, and she's very familiar with things like the situation in Bosnia, which I didn't know much about, and she knows things that are happening around here, like in Karabakh. Elisabeth, Books and Bouquins. She's a French-speaking Canadian, and she reads in French and English. I think she's a translator. She has lots of interesting things to say about the books she reads, and lots of interesting things to say about books in translation and whether the translations are good or not. And finally, number 14, I'd say Steve Donahue. He's a very shy, retiring sort. He has a nice dog though. And yeah, there's so many that weren't on that 14, like Hannah's books, Fraser Simmons, Sid Kevy, Marilyn Maya Mendoza, Book Time with Elvis, Mark Nash, Roz at Scallydandling, among the books, Scallydandling, about the books, and so many more. I apologise if I didn't mention your channel. It's probably just my omission and the restrictions of this tag. I will link to all the booktubers I mentioned in the description below. I highly recommend you check them out. They're great booktubers. I'm having a lot of fun on Booktube. It's a wonderful community, a very supportive community. There's not all the bitterness you get on some places like Book Twitter. And yeah, if you like this video, you can like and subscribe below, and I'll see you on my next video. Goodbye.